Lots and lots of businesses that you showcase there. There's fantastic challenges to all elements in this sector and the other sectors as well. And indeed, throughout the day, we're going to be putting the spotlight on a number of businesses that are breaking new ground in whatever category they're operating in. You saw a number of them on the screen there. We're going to do this in a series of fireside chats. We're not sure why people use this term fireside chats, because there's no fire, but we will be chatting. We will be chatting. The first of these fireside chats is with Kugali Media. You might have seen their logo on the screen there. Oh, any Kugali Media people here? Whoa, okay. They are a visual entertainment company that focuses on African storytelling, and Kugali became the first company to close a deal with Disney Animation. It's also the official Snapchat creator in the augmented reality field. David Jima, you're into this kind of AI and augmented reality. And its content has been used by over 75 million people. It's 7 years old. It was founded by Tolu Oluwofokwe. Let me do this again. It's a good Yoruba name. Tolu Oluwofoyeku, Ziki Nelson, and Hamid Ibrahim. Hamid is the creative director of Kugali. He's with us here today. And before we meet him, let's feast our eyes on a clip of Iwaju, which is an original animated series set in a futuristic Lagos.
Africa.
Iwaju is a futuristic sci-fi story set in Lagos, Nigeria, about a young girl from the island.
This is Oti.
A lizard? Ugh.
That befriends a young boy from the mainland.
This is amazing!
It became clear that what was needed was a company that could create a platform for talented artists and storytellers to showcase their stories. As Kugali, it was a light bulb moment. I was like, okay, here's an opportunity.
What I loved about them, from the minute I saw the video,
we're gonna kick this in Africa. I know that's gonna happen.
I knew they were artists, I knew they were passionate, and they were making it happen.
It was just really the three of us who had a dream that we believed in and worked very hard for.
You just called out the granddaddy of visual entertainment. You just called them out saying you're gonna kick their ass.
Let's see what happens.
So please welcome Hamid Ibrahim, co-founder and creative director. There we are. Aha, okay, fantastic stuff.
How you doing?
Really, really well, really, really well. Okay.
What's going on with the microphone?
Now, hopefully that should work. So, Hamid Ibrahim is the co-founder and creative director at Kugali Media. So tell us a bit about Iwaju. Have you heard of Iwaju before? Yeah. You know about it. Okay. Tell us about the origin, the genesis, and the fact that you were so bold you said you were going to kick Disney's ass in Africa.
Okay, first of all, can you all hear me well? Yes. Perfect. The journey is a very interesting one.
Yeah.
In terms of how Iwaju came about, it's actually something that's going to touch on what both Dr. Carlton and the Lord said. I'm going to say the doctor and the Lord because they covered a few things, just in short. So when the doctor and the Lord speak about the general perception when people see Africa, there's a question that always riles me up.
Okay.
So during an interview with the BBC, there was a line of questioning going around there, and the question was around the fact that, hey, stories in Africa, and there's always a thing of almost nobody knows any stories from the continent. Mm-hmm. Like, I've traveled to I don't know how many countries, and often I ask, name me 3 African stories, and people would blank out. Maybe you get Black Panther, which is not really African, right? So that's kind of the response I always get. Exactly. Yeah. Now, during the interview, we had just gone through that phase of questions, and then they asked about the future of Africa. So I was already riled up, and I was like, you know what? I think we're going to kick This Is Us in Africa. This isn't just got a straight bullet, because I was talking about generally around the world, nobody seems to care about African storytelling, right? And there was no way you could convince me that over 1 billion people cannot create one good story that the world will know. Like, that just did not make any sense. So I was like, if they don't pay attention to this sector, we are going to be waking up as the doctor and the Lord said. We're going to be waking up and we're going to kick their asses. Now, luckily, they saw the passion, generally saw the passion of us saying that statement. And they reached out, we spoke to them, and the rest is history.
Okay, fantastic. So tell us about you, Tolu, and Ziki. How did you get together? What were your backgrounds? And tell us about that moment of fusion.
Okay, funny enough, that moment starts with me as well in terms of the three of us and the core of Kogali right now. So Tolu and Ziki knew each other from when they were kids. They're both Nigerian. I'm Ugandan, just for extra context. A lot of Nigerians have tried to claim me. Tolu and Ziki knew each other from primary school, so from when they were really young. Now, my career, I'm from Uganda, moved from Uganda to the UK in 2011. And then obviously I had the dream of working in VFX animation. My dream was to work on a big film. And my career started, I worked on a few big films. I worked on the Lion King remake, Dumbo, Dr. Dolittle, The Predator, and Darkest Minds. And then I quit. And the reason I quit was, as I was working on those, again, coming back to African perception, this one came from something a little bit more real. So I was working on Dumbo at the time, and there was a trailer that came out from a Nigerian company, and they posted it out. Now, I thought it looked cool. But from a low, like when you have rose-colored glasses, right? You're like, oh, for an African project, this looked cool, which is a phase I hate, but it looked cool for that. I showed it to my colleagues without any context, and they just ripped it apart, justifiably so. They were like, oh, look at the cloth simulation is broken, the lip sync is off. If you know anything about animation, you know all those details. And that got me thinking, is I'm here working on the highest levels of visual entertainment, but our best efforts back home, the ones that traveled across the globe, my uni project was better than it. Right? So I was like, you know what?
And why did you think that was?
That's a whole story. We'll get to that.
The why question is always the key question.
We'll get to that. But I'm sure there's a question on that one, right? So seeing that, I was like, I'm going to quit this job. I have an African mom. First of all, me going into animation was already something that gave a heart attack. But now I'm successful. Right? I'm successful, it's a good job, I'm getting paid well. Because, you know, if you've been in an animation studio, it's almost like the tech companies, like you're well fed, there's food, there's coffee, there's bananas in the office. Like, if you stay late, you get free food voucher to order any food you want. It was that kind of thing. And I'm telling my mom now, I got the dream, now I'm quitting it. And you can see I had just did not make sense to us. I was like, I'm gonna quit this so I can start something to help something back home in Africa. And that's because I knew I had the experience. And I thought I saved enough money, which was a lie. It ran out very quickly. So that was kind of the origin story. Reached out to
I just need to pause you for a second, and it kind of builds on something that Lord Hastings was saying about why people are in business. So you were in a comfortable job. You had all the food, the late-night bananas, the wonderful quality, the open offices, etc., that you wanted. And you saw this clip from a video from Nigeria with poor resolution, poor effects, and you thought, I'm going to quit this to go to work with these guys there. Is that what you're telling us?
It wasn't Tolu and Ziggy who made that clip. It was another company.
Okay.
But I saw that clip. It wasn't just a clip. It even got worse. Because we're a VFX company, right?
Yeah.
So I was in a VFX company, sorry, my bad. And they Googled, if you ever Googled African VFX, it's hilarious for all the wrong reasons. Yeah. Right? They found African Spider-Man. They found Who Killed Captain Phillips. My Ugandans will know that one. And it was that thing of like a 2-week roasting session. Obviously, they're my friends, so I'm laughing with them, but inside it's just killing me. I'm like, there is no way this is Africa.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to quit this. And then I went around, funny enough, I met up with a good number of companies. I had 10 meetings a day. I would kind of like, this is in person, no Zoom at that time. So I'd go like in person meeting different people who just were doing Africa storytelling. Because as we said, as a doctor and the Lord said, if you go alone, you don't go that fast. I wanted to go with people. So I was very intent on finding people who are kind of in that journey, wanting to start there. That's when I found Tolu and Ziki, reached out, and then we formed Kogali.
And what was your pitch to Tolu and Ziki? It wasn't, well, I used to work in this company. I'm so shocked by what we as Africans are doing. I need to work with you and raise your level. I'm sure it wasn't that. What was it?
Interestingly, it was very similar to that.
Oh, no!
Because we met up, because I met up with a lot of people, right? First of all, every single person I met up with, they seemed scared with how far I wanted to push. Like, there was that thing of everybody's like, but no, let's do these things first. Yeah, I'm like, why are we doing this when we can do that? That was always my perception. And one big thing with Tolu and Ziki, they were both comfortable with how much I was planning to push. That was the first thing. And the second thing was, we made an absolutely perfect team. Like, that's no fault, like, that was God's blessings on me there, right? So the team was like absolutely perfect.
Fantastic. How did you find them?
Instagram, Google. I found a lot of companies.
Yeah.
It's a lot of digging and a lot of disappointment, if I'm being honest. Because you dig, you find somebody, you're like, oh, this is what they're doing, they're trying this and this. But then you see it's just the quality of the work. Like, if I'm being completely frank, I was not happy with the quality of work. And if you notice anything to do with Kugali, our comic books, if you notice with the Waju, every single thing we do, there's one key thing I press on. I would rather the company shut down than make crap quality things. Just because crap quality things, it's just the same repeat. We have excess of that.
Okay.
We don't need any more of that.
Okay. So you think, okay, these are the guys I can work with. It's a
Yep.
God-given moment.
Yep.
You've got your storyboard, you've got your plans, and then you think to yourself, finance.
Hey, now we're thinking finance. I wasn't even thinking finance then.
Oh.
So the first move was, let's see if this works. So before I quit the job, I was like, let's see if there's interest there. And this is when I thanked Ziki, because actually he went to business school as well, right? So his first job was he was an investor, investment banker.
Oh, by the way, were Tolu and Ziki in Lagos, or were they here?
Ziki was here, Tolu was in Lagos. I met Tolu for the first time in my life last year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. After working with him 5 years. Wow. 2024, the future. Anyway, in terms of finance, the first thing we thought was, let's test if people are actually interested in this. So we launched an issue 0 comic book, which I hated, but Ziki did business studies and so on, and he kept saying, your first product should not be good. I remember we had a launch event. It was like in a co-working space. And we launched it, and people were buying the book, and people were enjoying it. And it's that light bulb moment. It's like, I'm going to say crap again. It wasn't the quality. It was an A5 black and white. I've seen these books colored. If people are eating this up, they want this that badly. What if we give them something good quality? So that was step one, was that. Then we did a Kickstarter to fund, again, that was another first, right? The first ever African comic book anthology. We did that, pulled in a few people.
And how much did you ask for in the Kickstarter?
We were going for £10,000. We ended up raising £27,000 in the month. Yeah, so that was like the proper proof of concept. That was the thing of like, okay, I can quit the job now, kind of thing, right?
Okay.
So that was kind of like the first thing. No financing yet, so we did that. From that, that's when we got an angel investor who came in. I think they came in with about 60K, but they were absolutely golden. Like right now, they're the happiest people in the world because that 60K is like all the way up. But that's when you got the first financing. Now, funny enough, now we want proper financing. Now I think, because we wanted to prove to ourselves.
Is that why
first.
you've come here?
Yes.
Okay.
That's number one reason.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
And then why should somebody finance in you at the stage you're at now?
I'll make it clear. We have ticked every single box, as the doctor and the Lord said, right? Like everything they went through, you need to have done this, you need to do this. I'm like, you're talking to, like, we've cleared every single thing which somebody would possibly say, do this before you go for finance. I promise you we have done. Like, we have all the evidence. There is nothing more left, right? I'll give you an example. I'll just give you an analogy. If this was, again, this is Black Business Show, right? If this was any other culture, and somebody for the culture, just repeat the achievement we did with Iwaju. If anybody from any other culture had closed a deal with a company, the oldest animation, 100 years, Disney, the biggest animation company of the world, right? To collaborate with them on a project. They have never done this with anybody. If you go on Disney Plus, check on every Disney project, you only see one logo on it, the Disney logo or the Pixar logo who they own. You see Disney and Kugali right there. Nobody has ever done it. If any other culture did this, they would be throwing money at them.
Yeah.
There is no, you cannot tell me there's something else we need to do. I am not like, if you tell me, I'll do it and I'll come back to you.
Fantastic. You know, I would like us to go on for a bit longer, but I'm getting the sort of wind up. We've got loads of time left. Do you want to hear more? Wrong clock.
We'll do what?
We'll
Last
find
question?
another way of talking more again in the day.
For sure.
Hamid Ibrahim, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.